Hi, this is Numeric Citizen. In today's video, I'm happy to share everything you need to know about Craft Presentation Mode. In case you didn't know about it, that the Craft Presentation Mode allows you to do a presentation like you would do in a PowerPoint or Keynote. And so this feature has been available since version 2.7.7. And according to a recent poll I published on my YouTube channel, there's quite a lot of interest in Craft Presentation Mode because about half of the user are either actually using already the Craft Presentation or are planning to find some use cases for it. So I thought it was a good time for me to explain everything you need to know about the Craft Presentation Mode, how to make great presentation, and what you need to know and what you need to maybe avoid. So let's start. In order to demonstrate the Craft Presentation feature, I'm going to use a document that I have in front of me here. And from there, I'll be creating a more an interesting, visually interesting presentation. And I'll show you what you have to do to build that presentation. So usually when you build a presentation, you have a plan and you have a set of ideas that you want to convey and share with your audience. And so let's say I'm starting with this document. The first thing you need to know is that each slides within the presentation needs to be created using a separator. So if I click on this place here, I'm going to just insert a presentation, a separator right there. So it will create a slide with this first portion of the presentation. So to enter the presentation mode, you just click on this button right here at the top right corner, and then you'll see how it goes. So you are seeing the first slide of the presentation. To get out of this, just press Escape on the keyboard, usually, or click on the X here, and then you can insert as many separators that you need. So let's say I'm going to insert some separator here and here, right there, here, right there. And at the end of this, this portion here is a summary of the uh, document before, which I use the Craft Assistant in order to generate this summary. So what I'm going to do is to take this summary and bring it right at the beginning of the document, and then I'll insert another separator. So if I again start the presentation mode, you will see that the content is different than a while ago. So if you want to create a beautiful presentation, you can use Craft built-in features in order to do that. Now, the first thing you might want to do is to select a header image for the document, which will become the first slide of the presentation. So I can go in the page style here, click cover image, and then select the image there, and then come back here, so I can choose image, and I can ask Unsplash here, AI. So I don't know what's going to come out from that. Yeah, let's take this robot. And as you can see, the placement of the picture is not really good. And if I check the presentation mode, you'll see that you lose the content at the bottom of their slide. So one way to do that is to use the recently introduced the resizing feature, where you can just select this and then select a 3:1 and then position the image like that. Click done. And then if I come back in the presentation mode to just to test it, so you have the header image, and then you have the content of the slide itself. If I come back here, the other thing I would say is that you use the header text for each slide as often as possible, so it makes a beautiful layout of the slide. So if I come back here and I go on the next slide with the right arrow key on my keyboard, so you see here there is no header by itself. There is one here. So what I would suggest is that if you go right there, and then I can select the subtitle. This is a subtitle. What I'd like to do is to use a emoji right there, so that it makes a little bit fun display of the header itself. So I can select robot. So again, if I come back here, and then you can see that the header is interesting to summarize the content of the text, and also this little emoji, which makes things a little bit nicer. My other suggestion would be to test as often as possible the layout of your actual slide. So to enter again the presentation mode, it's pretty quick. You can move around in your presentation with the arrow keys, or you can use here at the bottom, there is a kind of page numbers. So there is 9 slide and I'm slide number 4. And so you can move around in this presentation like that. And the thing that you have to remember is that don't try to put too much information in a single slide, because when the slides gets bigger and it's become too tall compared to the actual space that you have on your display, the presentation will be, you have to scroll up and down the content of your presentation of your slide to see the presentation in its full content. So just keep that in mind if you are also working on an iPad or using the Mac and going back and forth between those two platforms. Consider that you might see constraints that are different depending on the device you use for doing the actual presentation. Now, inside a slide, you can put more than simple text blocks. You can put a lot of things inside a slide. For example, if I want to modify this slide here, I can just enter here and then paste a link, which is the actual link to the presentation that I'm going to do at the end of the presentation here, at the end of this video. So if I come in the presentation mode and I go to this slide, so you see the actual bookmark that I inserted into the presentation. Remember though that you cannot click on the link here to branch out to the actual document. So this is something that you need to know. And also that any blocks like card, subpage, links, even whiteboards, you can display them, but you cannot interact with them. You cannot click on them. You cannot play a video inside a slide for now. So this is something that you really have to know. So if I come back here and I want to insert a whiteboard here, I can do that. So I click on the whiteboard, which is still in beta for in case you didn't know. So I can just select something here like a circle and then insert a, oops, can again insert a square, and also I can select an arrow here from there. So I want to do that. So I can use this whiteboard and then come back, close that, come back here. And then the whiteboard will generate the preview of the content of the whiteboard. And if I want to enter in presentation, then you'll see that I can have this whiteboard. Again, if the whiteboard is large, you will have to scroll like this in order to see the full content of your slide. If you want to move around your slides within your presentation, there's a few ways that you can do that, but actually it comes down to selecting a bunch of blocks and then moving them around using the command X to cut the blocks from the document and paste that at the right place. So if you take this slide here, if I go into presentation mode and you see that this is the actual slide that I want to move around, you need to move the actual separator itself with the slide content in this operation. So you select the separator here, you select the slide content here until the last block of the slide content. You hit Command X to cut the content. And then you select the last block of the slide where you will insert after the new slide, and then you hit paste, and then this is how you will get the slide moved within your presentation. Now that you know a little bit more about building documents that will become presentations, let's recap everything that I said, and then add some more information. So I'm currently presenting the document that I used to build this YouTube video. So again, the first slide, the header image of the document will be the part of the first slide content, and then you can move around using the keyboard, the forward arrow, or the backward arrow. You can put an image like that within the slide, and also if you want to know how to start a presentation, you always use the present button at the top right corner of your window. If you want to quit the presentation, you just hit escape on this slide. Um, and again, some styling tips. Don't put too much information in your slide because, I mean, people tend to read the content and stop listening to you. So a great model of presentation is the Apple Keynotes presentations, which are very slick. Use a consistent style across slides. So for that, I would suggest that when you have a header style like this, and you want to create a new slide, just copy the styling of this block, and then when you start a new slide, you just start writing your new header, and then you paste the style to this block so that everything is formatted the same way across all your slides. One thing that is super cool is to use the background of a document. So when you create a background in your document and in presentation mode, this is the bezel that you will see around the slide content, and I think it's pretty nice. So use that. I would suggest to use the title style for the slide title. It's the best looking to my taste. Again, apply the block styling to the slide title so that it's the same on every slide. Don't forget to use a document header for the first slide to make the presentation more beautiful. And also consider the difference in the screen size of your devices if you are working on two different devices to build your presentation. If you are building on the iPad, but you expect to present on the Mac or vice versa, just consider that the screen content will vary, and so you might need to scroll up and down a single slide to see all the slide content. And also, again, remember that often less is more. Now, did you know that you can, again, move forward and backward in your presentation? You can also use the up and down arrow on your keyboard to scroll the content of a single slide. Any shared document that you have within Craft now will come up with a present button at the top right corner of your shared document. So if you have people that have access to your document, so now you know that they can start the presentation mode. It's not always good because not all documents are created in presentation mode in mind, but this is something that will be there and you won't be able to turn off in this current version of Craft. If you want to put sub-page like cards and page within a slide, you won't be able to go within the card or the sub-page within your presentation. You will stay at the top level of your document. You can also start a presentation within a subpage. So if let's say that you have a big document, a research document, and you want to create a presentation out of this research document, then you can create a subpage, and then within that subpage, build the presentation that you want related to this research. And then when you want to start the presentation, you just go in the subpage and you hit the present button, and then it will start from there. If you use any separator like the one I showed you during the presentation, any separator or even the page break will create a new slide. But if you use the page separator, this is a nice looking separator, and it's closer visually to what you will get during the real presentation when you will do the real presentation. You can also use the table of content when you are presenting. So in a document like this here, I could I could. No, I don't think I can move within the slide here. But when you are editing the content of your presentation, you can use the table of content feature to move around within your presentation, but you cannot do that while presenting your presentation. And also the presentation on the web and on the desktop use the same page width. Also, you can use tables within your presentation slide. And you can also, like I said earlier, you can use the whiteboard. And this is the procedure to use to move around slides within your presentation. This screenshot here in editing mode was an animated GIF, but now it's static because, again, in presentation mode, the dynamic content is not displayed. It's displayed as a static content. So this is why nothing is happening here. So what I'm trying to say here is that if I go there and I go in the actual content, you can see that the animated GIF is actually displaying correctly, but once in presentation mode, it displays in static. Also, you can add images within your presentation to make things beautiful. And if it helps convey your message, your content, then I encourage you to use a image. Here's some limitation using Craft Presentation. You cannot click on the card title, you cannot click on deep links, you cannot click on smart links, and you cannot click on subpage to branch out in those objects. So this is something that you need to know. And in summary, some things that you cannot, like I said, things that you cannot do are listed here. And remember, Craft is not PowerPoint or is not Keynote, but I think in its current form, Craft Presentation is very nice and it can be very useful. So this is the actual end of the presentation. So that's it for the Craft Presentation Unleashed video. I hope that you'll learn how to better use a Craft Presentation mode and that you might use it for your own workflows. So again, thank you for being there. Thank you for watching until the very end. And if you like this video, just hit like at the bottom of the video. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to use the comment section below. I'll be more than happy to answer those questions and comments. Thanks again for being there, and see you guys for another one soon. Bye.